Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Canal Algérie Midnight News, and these are our top stories. The Army General Said Chingri have followed the launch operation of the second Alsat-3B satellite at the remote sensing ground station. Close up on the mining railway line in the southwest, a major 950 kilometers infrastructure project linking Bishar, Bni Abbas, Tindouf and Gharaj Bilat, a transformative project that has fostered an entire ecosystem. Behind official promises, families displaced and children denied education amid rising social tension in Morocco. And in the Middle East, more than 32 Palestinians were killed in Gaza as attacks continue despite truce. Welcome back. As part of the ongoing efforts to strengthen and develop national capabilities in space surveillance and complete the architecture of the Alsat-3 high-resolution Earth observation system, the Army General Said Chingri, Minister Delegate to the Ministry of National Defense and Chief of Staff of the PNA, observed this Saturday the launch of the second Alsat-3B satellite at the remote sensing ground station. Rani al-Bahri.
At the outset, following the welcoming ceremony led by Major General Ali Sidan, commander of the 1st Military Region, the Army General Said Changriha, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense and Chief of Staff of the People's National Army, attended presentations and detailed explanations on the Alsat-3B satellite. These presentations took place in the presence of His Excellency, the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, the Director of the Algerian Space Agency, and the heads of departments and central directors of the Ministry of National Defense and the General Staff of the People's National Army. The Army General then observed the launch of the Alsat-3B satellite at 5:01 a.m. local time, 12:01 p.m. China time. This launch follows the successful launch of the Alsat-3A satellite on January 15th from the Sichuan launch site in northwest China. This launch, the second of its kind in less than a month, was a complete success, representing a significant achievement and a new step in the process of building a new and triumphant Algeria.
3, 2, 1.
The Army General then delivered a speech in which he conveyed to the audience the congratulations and encouragement of the President of the Republic, who had closely followed all stages of preparation and implementation of this project, describing it as a source of pride for the entire Algerian people. He stated that following the successful launch of the Alsat-3B satellite on Saturday morning, January 31st, 2026, After the launch of the Al-Saad 3A on January 15th, he was pleased to transmit the congratulations and encouragement of President Abdelmajid Tebboune, President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and Minister of National Defense. He added that the President had shown special interest in this project and has closely monitored all stages of preparation and execution of these achievements. The Army General also expressed in his personal capacity his deepest congratulations to all those involved, particularly the executives and staff of the Algerian Space Agency, as well as the various services and competencies of the National People's Army, who contributed to the realization of these projects. He urged all concerned to make full use of the knowledge and experience gained in order to ensure complete mastery of these satellites, not only in terms of their operation and control, but also with regard to continue the development of space technologies in Algeria. He added that these major achievements represent a new stage in the process of building a new and victorious Algeria, citing as an example the inauguration scheduled for the following day in Garage Bilet of the railway line linking Bashar and Tindouf, which would greatly contribute to the exploitation of this important mine and reflect the true image of an emerging Algeria, sovereign in its choices and decisions. At the end of the event, the Army General expressed his thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China for China's sincere commitment to cooperation with Algeria, whether in the realization of this ambitious project or in the various structuring projects contributing to the country's development momentum. At the conclusion of this visit, the Army General, Minister Delegate to the Minister of National Defense and Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, signed the guest book of the remote sensing ground station.
In New Delhi, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nunes Mokran, led the Algerian delegation to the second session of the Arab-Indian Cooperation Forum, met with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Nunes Mokran reaffirmed Algeria's commitment to strengthening cooperation with India, particularly in the pharmaceutical sector and technology transfer, highlighting the historic and strategic nature of Algerian-Indian relations, further reinforced by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, and Draupadi Murmu's recent exchange. The International Customs Day was celebrated this Saturday at the National Army Club, marking the anniversary of the World Customs Organization under the slogan, "Customs revives society with its vigilance and commitment." The celebration was attended by government officials, custom executives, and representatives of employers. The event highlighted Algerian customs' key role in supporting the national economy, combating fraud and smuggling. A landmark 950 kilometers mining railway line is now reshaping Algeria's southwest, linking Bashar, Bni Abbas, Tindouf and the newly operational Garage Bilet site. Completed in record 24 months, the project overcomes significant technical and logistical challenges, marking a major milestone in national infrastructure development. Najah Diyar.
The commissioning of the mining railway line marks one of the most significant infrastructure achievements of the recent years. It is set to transform the daily life in the country's southwest by substantially reducing distances and travel times between several provinces. Standing as a colossal engineering achievement, the Tindouf Garage Bilet Bashar mining railway line extends over 950 kilometers and was completed in less than 2 years. The project is distinguished by the massive scale of its earthworks, with more than 75 million cubic meters of embankments, excavations and leveling carried out to secure track stability and ensure safe train operations. Designed to withstand the harsh climate conditions of the country's southwest, the project incorporates robust infrastructure, ensuring long-term reliability and durability. It includes more than 1,500 hydraulic drainage structures and 50 road crossings, all built as part of this major development. To strengthen logistics and optimize train operations, 28 dedicated intersection units have been completed, supporting the transport of minerals, passengers and goods across the southwest. In parallel, 7 new railway stations have been built from Abedla to Garage Bilet, featuring architecture designed to blend with the Saharan landscape. Positioned as a strategic structuring project, the railway line is set to drive mining development and reinforce the national transport network over the long term. Its construction mobilized around 20 national companies and specialized engineering firms, meeting the highest technical and quality standards, with international partnerships supporting specific sections. The railway line, once operational, it will handle 24 mining trains daily in both directions, with 2 freight trains reaching 80 kilometers per hour and 2 passenger trains peaking at 160 kilometers per hour, dramatically improving the movement of the people and goods across the southwest.
Algeria is strengthening its foothold in international trade following the first successful transshipment operation at the port of Janjan. The port is now emerging as regional transit hub, and this thanks to recent expansion works that allow it to receive large capacity vessels. Officials say that this development is set to generate substantial revenue, improve container usage and reduce reliance on foreign ports. Ikram bin Qadi.
The cargo in this container, arriving from China, is unloaded and temporarily stored at the port of Janjan, an operation known as transshipment. This marks a first for Algeria and opens the way for a more integrated development of the national port system. The container will then continue its journey to Eastern Europe.
This transshipment operation is now being carried out at the port of Janjan following a series of reforms introduced by the country's highest authorities, particularly in the customs sector. Customs services supervised the operation and implemented all the necessary facilitation measures in accordance with the directives of the Director General of Customs to ensure its successful completion.
A success that marks a strategic turning point in the development of the port's infrastructure.
Following the completion of the first phase of the container terminal project, spanning 17 hectares, the port of Janjan has gained significant momentum. With the delivery of the second phase, the port is expected to further strengthen its operational capacity. Capable of accommodating vessels of up to 400 meters in length, the port of Janjan has today demonstrated the strength of its infrastructure with the successful completion of the country's first transshipment operation.
This major milestone confirms the port's growing capacity and its ambition to position itself as a regional logistic hub in the Mediterranean.
Controversy in France following Ségolène Royal's visit to Algiers. The president of French-Algerian Association is being sharply criticized by the several media outlets under the influence of the French far right. Her commitments and statements in favor of closer ties between the two countries are being called into question. Rani Al-Bahri.
Ségolène Royal's visit to Algeria, which took place in a spirit of mutual respect, attracted attention in Paris. Her calm statements caused strong reactions in some French political and media circles, especially on the far right, which quickly criticized her. However, the former French minister focused on dialogue, respect and the importance of improving relations between Algeria and France.
For me, her actions when she called France Algerophobic while in Algeria is like a form of betrayal of the state. As you know, wherever there is a position somewhere, she becomes a candidate for everything. She was even an ambassador for penguins and the poles, where she took photos. It's completely nonsense. This woman just wants attention. It's pure communication. Yes, she needs to exist. That's how she is.
This controversy highlights the inability of extremist rhetoric in France to accept others, transforming any attempt to reconciliation into a provocation. Conversely, this initiative has been supported by a large segment of reasonable French voices who see it as a clear-sighted action aimed at restoring trust.
I completely agree with what she says with her message of peace, calm and reconciliation with Algeria. And as she says, if we really want reconciliation, we must first return all the property that belongs to Algeria and is in France. It is not ours, we must give it back. It's a duty. Then, as she also says, and I agree, even if some people don't like it, France must apologize for what it did during the colonization of Algeria, all the horrors, the massacres, and we can even say a genocide.
On peut même dire un génocide.
Between political tensions and calls for dialogue, this visit serves as a reminder that Algiers and Paris will only regain trust through respect and reason.
In Gaza Strip, more than 32 Palestinians were killed this Saturday by the Zionist entity, most of them women and children in Sheikh, Radwan and Jabalia neighborhoods. Some were also killed when fire broke out in the homes of Palestinian refugees in Khan Yunis. These attacks continue almost daily despite the ongoing truce. Gazans fleeing the bombings and gunfire are also struggling to survive harsh winter conditions and shortages of food, medicine and other basic necessities due to the Zionist occupier blockade. In Morocco, hundreds of citizens are left homeless and deprived of basic rights as authorities carry out demolitions with impunity and offer empty promises. Najah Diyar.
A far darker reality lies beneath the official speeches and repeated promises. Citizens stripped of their rights and their dignity, living under a growing climate of arbitrariness and abuse of power. They talk about women's rights. What rights are they referring to? This is the reality. We live in makeshift shelters where water seeps in. Entire families, stripped of the most basic rights, are left on the streets after ruthless demolition operations. These actions, unchecked by harsh winter conditions or social hardships, have also denied students their schooling, erasing their right to education in a single blow.
The demolition of this institution was planned for the end of the school year, but we were surprised by this decision. The children were transferred to another school despite the parents' refusal. It was 8:30 in the morning. The children arrived at school to study and found machinery demolishing their building. This is very serious.
Amid the rising social tensions across all the sectors, the ordinary citizen remains sidelined, bearing the heaviest burden of the Mahsan's misdeeds.
Well, that was the Midnight News. Thank you very much for watching us. Stay tuned to Canal Algérie. Bye for now.